back at Fort Morgan High School, getting ready to start the Fort Morgan boys basketball game here. So now they're going to give the starting lineups here for Vista Peak, but we're going to wait till they get them introduced. And for Vista Peak, they're averaging 52.2 points a game, giving up 54 points a game. The Fort Morgan Mustangs are averaging 47 points a game, giving up 55 points a game. So, as we said earlier, with Vista Peak, this is only their third year in existence. So they have freshmen, sophomores, and juniors for their team. So the starters for Vista Peak is Isaiah Young, a 6'4" sophomore. Alex Hawkins, a 5'9" freshman. Number 22, J.T. Johnson, a 6'3" sophomore. Number 32, Noah Butler, a 6'1" sophomore. And number 40, Joe Simpkins, a 6'3" sophomore. So they've got a little bit of height there. Their college player, DJ Ortiz, doesn't even start, and he is a 6'5" junior.
Wonder if he's got an injury or something, or maybe he's just a good, better player off the bench for him.
So for the Fort Morgan Mustangs, Jake Frick, I think they were just introducing the seniors tonight. The seniors for Fort Morgan are Leo Lopez. Let's see who else. And also Garrett Reagan is a senior, and Jacob Frick. So only 3 seniors on this Mustang boys team. So starters for the Fort Morgan Mustangs is Leo Lopez, a 5'4" senior. Tony Swetzik, a 5'7" junior. Wes Anderson, a 6'4" junior. Eric Kimball, a 6-foot sophomore. So things looking good here for the Mustangs in the future. With the only starter that they're going to be losing is Leo Lopez. But Jake Frick gives them some good points off the bench and some good minutes, rebounding also. And Garrett Reagan gives them some good minutes. So they'll be missed after this year, but most of their starters are sophomores and juniors, so the future looks good here for the Fort Morgan boys basketball team. So the opening tip is brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance with 2 locations in Brush and Fort Morgan. Ingmeyer Phillips can help you with your home, car, health, or life insurance questions and needs. So Wes Anderson to jump center against Noah Butler, or Isaiah Young, excuse me, and the Bison do get the ball. Noah Butler now into the corner. Shot is up and no good by Johnson, but off the hands of Wes Anderson, so the ball will go back to the Bison with Isaiah Young just to the right of their basket, the inbounds. Now it's going to be lobbed in to Joe Simpkins. Now he gets it out to Butler. Butler holds it out high, gets a play from the coach. Now over to Hawkins. Hawkins over to Johnson out high. He dribbles off, passes over to the right to Noah Butler. Now over to Johnson. Back over to Alex Hawkins from the 3 from the corner, and no good. But rebounded and shot up and good by Alex Hawkins for a 3. So early lead for Vista Peak. Vista Peak now with a steal. They're going to call a foul. Looked like a nice block on the shot by Joey Snyder, but they're going to call a foul. And they now have a question at the scorer's table. Maybe they were just needing the number. So that foul will go against Joey Snyder. And to the line Looks like number 32, Noah Butler. His first shot is up and good. So 4-0 early for the Bison. Shot number 2 is also good. So the Bison with a full court press here. Get it into Kimball, up to Tony Swetzik. Swetzik crossed half court. Now the ball is going to be stolen on a pass down to Joyce Snyder underneath. Now ball out to Johnson. Johnson's up with a 3, and his shot is no good. The Bison are getting to their balls quicker than Fort Morgan. Fort Morgan, though, with a steal. Leo Lopez down the left side. His shot is up and no good. Rebounded to Kimball. Kimball's shot is off the rim and no good. Anderson now with a strong rebound. His little jumper from the right is good. Little right-handed hook shot for Anderson. 4-2. First 2 points on the night for Fort Morgan. 5-2 in favor of the Bison. Now Noah Butler over to Johnson. Johnson on the right wing. Now back over to Hawkins left wing. Back up to Butler out high. Hawkins now from the corner, and his 3 is off the side of the rim and no good. Rebounded by Joy Snyder. Ball now back to Snyder. Back to Swetzik. Swetzik pass down to Kimball. Kimball's 3 is up and good from the right wing. Nice 3 there by Kimball.
Beautiful shot by Kimball.
So 5-5, just like that. Fort Morgan ties this game up. So Johnson now from the right wing, now over to Hawkins. Hawkins back up to Butler. Butler to Hawkins. Now Butler from the corner, and that 3 is no good off the top of the backboard. So that will go over to Fort Morgan.
There's a chance for Fort Morgan to take the lead.
So Vista Peak now with a full court press. They get the ball in back to Eric Kimball. Kimball's pass is going to be deflected. It's going to be taken in and shot up and no good. But they're going to call a foul on Kimball. That's going to be his first. So to the line will be number 32, Noah Butler. So back to the line he goes to shoot 2. So the pressure on the Vista Peak is putting on is bothering the Mustangs right now. They're going to have to learn to start bounce past that ball instead of trying to go over the top, because they're just they're tipping the ball every time they try to pass it over the top. Those are beautiful free throws by Butler.
Yeah, they're anticipating the lob pass over the top.
So now Swetzik with the ball. Anderson across half court down the right side, gets it back out to Lopez. Now to Kimball. Kimball drives down the lane. He goes in. They're going to call a foul before the shot. And I believe they called that
number 4.
On number 4, and that is Young for the first team foul on the Bison. Ball into Anderson. Anderson's little hook is up and good. That goes down and one for Anderson. And they're going to give that foul to number 22, Johnson. So Anderson to go to the line, see if he can make this a 3-point play. Shot is up and good. So now Fort Morgan with the lead, 8-7 with 5:05 to go in the first period. So Fort Morgan playing some pretty good basketball here early. Getting Anderson involved. He has 5 of the points. So now they're going to call a foul on Joyce Snyder. It's going to be 2 on him. So Vista Peak to inbounds to the right of their basket. Snyder is going to sit, and Jacob Frick, a senior, into the game. Now a 3 from the corner is no good, but rebounded, and a nice block by Frick. Now to Kimball. Gets the ball up court. Now that ball is going to be tipped out of bounds. Knocked out of bounds by number 22, Johnson, for Vista Peak. So Fort Morgan with the ball. Swetzik looks to get the ball in, gets it in the back court to Leo Lopez. Lopez still in the back court. Now down court to Frick. Frick's pass is going to be tipped away. That's going to be taken by number 32, and that is going to be Noah Butler. So Butler with most of the points here in the first half, and they're going to call over and back on Fort Morgan. So another turnover by the Mustangs, down 9-8 with 4:25 to go in the first period. The pressure that the Bison are putting on is bothering the Mustangs at the moment. So out high is Hawkins. He gets it off into the corner for a three, and that is going to be good by Johnson. So now 12-8 in favor of Vista Peak. They're going to call a foul on Vista Peak on number 32, and that's going to be Butler's first. 3 team fouls apiece on each team. 1 foul apiece on Young, Johnson, and Butler. For the Mustangs, Snyder with 2 and Kimball with 1. So Kimball to inbounds far side into Leo Lopez. Lopez back to Kimball. Kimball gets it across half court, now to Lopez, now to Tony Swetzik. Swetzik pass underneath to Anderson. Anderson's little layup from the right is good. So 7 points right now for Anderson in the game. Nice block by Anderson.
That's a good block, clean block by Anderson.
So Johnson tried to go up with that shot, and he was rejected. So now they get the ball in. Number 32 over to Butler on the right wing. He brings it out high, gets it over to Hawkins. Hawkins backs it out to the jump circle out at the center of the court. Now he gets it over to Butler. Butler in the corner again for another 3, but that shot is no good. That is taken by Jake Frick. Nice hustle there by Frick. Now Leo Lopez gets the ball down court, picks up his dribble now to Swetzik. So 3:15 to go in the first period. Fort Morgan down 12-10. Now to Kimball in the corner, back to Anderson. Anderson out to Swetzik. Swetzik out high over to Lopez. Lopez brings it back out to set up the offense for the Mustangs. Now there's going to be a foul. Nice call on Isaiah Young. That is going to be his second. I don't know what they were oohing and on about. He wrapped his arm clear around him.
Yeah, he had him all wrapped up.
So Zach Garcia to come in. He is coming in for Tony Swetzik. So Garcia is a 5'9" junior. Kimball gets the ball in to Garcia. Now back to Kimball. Kimball out high, gets it over to Garcia on the left wing. Now he dribbles in, gets it back out to Kimball. Kimball goes for a 3 from the left wing and no good. Rebounded to Vista Peak. Vista Peak now into the corner, and that's going to be a 3 up and no good. Rebounded to Vista Peak. Now Vista Peak backs it out and set up their play here. And that is Alex Hawkins out high with the ball. Almost back out to midcourt. Now he brings it into they're going to call an offensive foul. Yeah. Nice call underneath.
Beautiful call against Vista Peak.
They're going to call that on number 20, I believe, and that was going to go against Barrow. They call that on number 2, Sanusi.
Yeah, Sanusi gave Anderson the floor with an elbow.
So 5 team fouls on the Bison, 3 for Fort Morgan. So Fort Morgan to get the ball in, they do to Anderson. Back to Kimball. Kimball crossed half court with 2:20 to go in the first period. 12-10 in favor of Vista Peak. So Garcia down to the right side. They're going to call an offensive foul on Jake Frick.
I didn't see him do anything wrong with that. But.
So Garrett Reagan in for Wes Anderson. 12-10 in favor of the Bison with 2:05 to go in the first period. Hawkins with the ball, top of the key, dribbles into the key, then back out past the three-point line. Over to the right corner, back out to Hawkins. Hawkins now trying to set up the play. Hawkins now on the right upper wing. He drives it down the lane, passes it back out to Simpkins, and now back. That shot was no good by Simpkins. It hit the backboard, and that was all it hit. So Leo Lopez Brings the ball down court to Zach Garcia. Garcia out to Kimball. Kimball now holding the ball, now starts to dribble. Over to Zach Garcia on the right wing. Back out to Jake Frick. Frick to Kimball in the corner, left corner. And that three is up and good by Kimball.
Beautiful shot by Kimball.
So 6 points on the night for Kimball, both 3-pointers. Nice strip now by Kimball on the pass. Now over to Zach Garcia. Garcia is going to be fouled on the layup, and that's going to go against Sanusi. That's going to be 2 on Sanusi.
That was a pretty hard foul.
So Zach Garcia to the line to shoot 2.
That's a good play by Kimball to pick that pass off.
So Garcia to the line to shoot 2. Ackley Building Center, your one-stop center for projects around your home, office, or yard, and they now carry appliances. Ackley Building Center, located at 1402 Mill Street in Brush. And that first one was up and good for Garcia. His first point of the night. So now Kimball takes a seat. And Tony Swetzik back into the game for the Mustangs. So Zach Garcia's second shot is up and good also. So far tonight for the Mustangs, they're 3 of 3 from the free throw line. So now ball into number 20, and that is Barrow. His little jumper is up and good for 2. Now Fort Morgan down court, and they get the ball in. They're going to call a foul, I believe. They said no foul, must have just been out of bounds. So Tony Swetzik, the inbounds left of the Mustang basket. Now out to Zach Garcia, back to Kimball. 3-pointer from the corner, and that one is over the rim and no good. Now they're going to call over the back on Garrett Reagan. So Garrett Reagan, a 6'3" senior. So still 15-14 now in favor of Fort Morgan with 44.4 seconds to go in the first period. Bison bring the ball across half court now with 40 seconds to go in the first period. Butler underneath, and that is going to be shot up and no good by Young. Now ball to Leo Lopez, back to Garrett Reagan, over to Tony Swetzik. Swetzik underneath her to Frick, up and good.
Beautiful passing by the Mustangs.
So now with 20 seconds to go in the first period, Fort Morgan 17, Bison 14. With Noah Butler backing it out towards the half court, looking for the play from the coach. They're going to go for the last shot now with 10 seconds to go. Butler with the ball, guarded by Garcia. Now over into the corner for Ayala.
He hit a 3.
For a 3. So at the end of the first period, 17-17 on that 3 by Ayala. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School with Bob Richardson, this is Brian Nickel. Right now it is 17-17 at the start of the second period. Ayala hit a 3 at the buzzer for the Bison. But Fort Morgan playing much better basketball tonight than they did at Vista Peak, that's for sure. Getting Anderson involved in the game. He usually isn't involved too much in the scoring, and so far tonight he has got 7 points on the night. Now they're going to call a block offensive foul on Anderson. I don't believe I've seen quite so many offensive fouls called in a game for quite some time. So now 6 team fouls apiece for both teams. So now Vista Peak, the ball underneath, and that was good for a 2 by Young. Now Fort Morgan gets the ball up court to Leo Lopez. Lopez's pass underneath is going to be stolen by Butler. Butler gets it across half court. So the Bison now leading 19-17 with 7:23 to go in the second period. Now a shot from the corner by Ayala, up and no good. Hustle now, but that's going to be off of Vista Peak.
It looks like Ayala might have sprained his ankle there a little bit when he came down. He's kind of wincing a little bit.
So now Hawkins back into the game for Sanusi.
IL is going to go to the bench and get that leg checked out.
So now Fort Morgan gets the ball in across, not quite across half court yet. Now they do. Kimball with the ball over to Swetzik. Swetzik to the corner to Anderson. Anderson back to Kimball. Now underneath to Kimball. He loses the ball, taken away by the Bison, and that would be Hawkins. Hawkins now over to Butler. Butler out high on the left wing. He's going to try and drive against Garcia. His shot is up and no good. Shot is going to be followed, and they're going to count that basket, and that's going to be good for Barrow.
We're going to give Anderson the foul.
Anderson with his second. So now they have 3 players with 2 fouls apiece. Frick, Schneider, and Anderson, and Kimball with 1. So now Barrow to the line to shoot one. Anderson comes out, and Henry Weimer into the game. Henry Weimer is a 6'5 junior. So we'll see if Henry can get in and do some damage on the boards while he's in there. First shot is up and good. The only shot since they gave him the points. So now Kimball. Thank you. They called a foul on number 20 for a push.
Yeah, you couldn't get any more plainer than that. He sat there and was trying to scoot him down the field with his hips.
So 7 team fouls now. So Leo Lopez will go to the line to shoot 1 and 1. We'll see if he can continue the streak here. Fort Morgan in the first period, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. Now the first shot is up and good by Leo.
Streak continues.
Looks like the Mustangs have been doing a little free throw shooting practice here in the last couple of weeks. 100% so far for the game. 22-18 in favor of Vista Peak. Second shot also good. So 22-19 in favor of Vista Peak with 6:30 to go in the second period. Alex Hawkins with the ball, guarded by Garcia. He stops and pops the 3 off the rim and no good. Nice rebounded by Henry Weimer. Nice positioning there. Now Kimball with the ball. Kimball into the corner to Leo Lopez. Lopez back out to Kimball. Kimball drives down the lane. It's going to be out of bounds off of Vista Peak.
Kimball started running up the court like it was off him.
I thought it was off of him, but the ref said otherwise.
Yeah, we'll take the ref's opinion on this one.
So Isaiah Young comes out for the Bison and JT Johnson into the game. Tony Swetzik gets the ball into Zach Garcia in the corner. Now to Leo Lopez. Back over to Garcia on the right wing. Back out to Swetzik. Lets it get by him there. He retrieves it before half court. Now Swetzik gets the ball into Kimball. Kimball now with a little left-hand shot, but no good. Rebounded to Vista Peak. Taken away by Fort Morgan. Now Zach Garcia across half court gets it to Leo Lopez. Tries to get the ball underneath, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds by Vista Peak. So Vista Peak leading 22-19 with 5:35 to go in the second period. Ball into Tony Swetzik, back to Kimball in the corner. Kimball to Henry Weimer. Weimer looking to get rid of the ball. He does down to Leo Lopez. His shot up and no good. Weimer gets the rebound. His shot up and no good. Rebounded to Hawkins. Hawkins down court. Now they're going to try a 3 from the corner. That is no good by Johnson. Now Leo Lopez hustles down court. Now to Zach Garcia. Garcia's shot over the rim and no good. Henry Weimer with the ball. He goes up for a shot, and he is fouled. He will go to the line to shoot 2. And the foul is going to go against Barrow. That will be his second. Henry Weimer to the line to shoot 2. Stubbs Oil and Gas is located at I-76 and Highway 39 in Wiggins. Don't delay and get there today to see why convenience is Stubbs' middle name. Ackley Building Center, your one-stop center for projects around your home, office, or yard, and they now carry appliances. Ackley Building Center, located at 1402 Mill Street in Brush. And the first one was good by Weimer.
Still perfect on their free throws.
Streak continues. That's what's keeping him in the game right now, only down by 2.
A point's a point.
6 points, and now 7 points from the free throw line. So if that's what keeps you in the game, then that's what you need to keep doing. So then they're much improved on the line tonight. 18 fouls for the Bison, 7 for the Mustangs. Mustangs down 22-21 with 4:50 to go in the second period. Ball into Butler, now back out to Hawkins. Now out on the right wing to Johnson. Johnson cross court to Hawkins. Hawkins up top to Butler. Now back over to Hawkins. His three-pointer is no good. Tipped out by Weimer. Taken by...
Offensive foul on...
They're going to call that on Kimball. So that's going to be 2 on Kimball. I'm not sure about that, but it was close.
It was close.
So now TJ Bauer into the game for Kimball. Kimball will take a seat. So
Kimball turned around and he was planted, and Kimball couldn't get around him as much as he wanted to.
He must they're going to stop the game here for a minute, I believe.
He's got a bloody nose.
Joe Simpkins. Usually I see a blood timeout in wrestling, but usually not in basketball. So now Xavier Barrow into the game, a 6'2 junior for the Bison. Bison leading 22-21 with 4:31 to go in the second period. So Vista Peak with the ball inbounds to Hawkins. Hawkins now over to the corner to Butler. Now underneath to Young, and he is going to be fouled on the shot. That's going to go against Henry Weimer. That's going to be his first. So that will send Young to the line for 2 shots. Hometown Auto and Hardware, Brush's local Napa and Hardware Hanks and Small Engine Repair Shop. Stop by and let them help you today. 1305 Edison. First shot up and good by Young. So 3 points on the night for Young.
Weimer's out, and they're bringing Snyder back in.
So second shot is up and good also for Young. 4 points on the night for Young. Leo Lopez trying to get ball across half court now. Gets to Garcia, back up to Leo Lopez. Lopez to Bauer. Bauer out to Tony Swetzik. Swetzik for a 3, and that is up and no good. Tapped out by Zach Garcia, but taken by Vista Peak. Vista Peak hustles down court. That shot is up and no good, but rebounded by Vista Peak. Now it's going to be taken by Schneider. Now to Zach Garcia. Garcia to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez down the right wing. He takes it down the center. Now it's going to be a little shot up and good by TJ Bauer.
That was a beautiful,
nice little reverse layup there by Bauer. So Fort Morgan down 24-23 with 3:39 to go. Now they're going to call... They're going to call a foul on Fort Morgan. Called it on Zach Garcia, I believe. So that will be his first. That's 10 team fouls on Fort Morgan. So this will be a 2-shot foul. Looks like Butler at the line to shoot 2, and his first shot is up and good.
They remain perfect on their free throws.
100% free throw shooting so far for both teams. You don't see that very often. Sanusi back into the game for the Bison. So second shot for Butler coming up, and that is no good. Finally missed one. Rebounded to Tony Swetzik. Swetzik to Leo Lopez. Lopez is over to Schneider. Schneider to Garcia. Garcia from the left wing, and no good. Oh, it is good. It bounces in and goes in for Garcia.
Gave him a 2.
That was a 2. Fort Morgan down 20, they're tied up now 25-25 with 3:15 to go in the second period. So now over to Hawkins. Hawkins back out to Butler. Butler over to Hawkins. Hawkins to Butler. Now to Young. Now they're going to back it out with Noah Butler out almost to the jump circle. Now over to Hawkins, left high wing. He bounces it off to Sanusi. So Fort Morgan playing it smart, not coming out. So now nice tip out by Joey Schneider. Cut right in front of Young. Knocked that ball out of bounds.
That pass had a little gust on it there.
So Sanusi out and Johnson in for the Bison. Now they're having a little. Hawkins must have a little attitude going on or something. I'm not sure. The ref came over to talk to him. I'm not sure what that was all about. We're all tied up here with 2:46 to go. Now a three. And that is good by Noah Butler. So we're going to have to keep a hand in his face. Now Zach Garcia over to Bauer. Bauer to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez down court, and that's going to be saved by Snyder, but that's going to go into Vista Peak's hands. Now it's going to be taken back by Garcia. Garcia to Leo Lopez. Lopez backs it out, right high wing. Now takes it down the right sideline. Pass underneath to Snyder. Snyder back out to Lopez. Lopez to Swetzik. Now TJ Bauer with a three, and that's off the back of the rim and no good. Rebounded to Vista Peak, but stolen by Fort Morgan. Now it's going to be to Joy Snyder. Snyder back out to Swetzik. His three is no good. So Fort Morgan still down 28-25 with a minute 50 to go in the second period. Hawkins way out in the corner, high corner. Just started dribbling. Let's see how much time they want to run off. See if Fort Morgan will go out to attack the ball. With a minute 34 to go on the clock, they might just run this down if they don't get some pressure. And they may have to go out and Fort Morgan has to pressure. Since they're down, I think they need to pressure the ball, get things going. But now they're down to a minute 16 to go. Hawkins still with the ball out in the corner. Keeps the dribble alive. Fort Morgan not showing any interest to go out to defend him right now. They're going to let this clock run down. We're now at a minute in the first half. Fort Morgan down 28-25. And now Hawkins still with the ball out there. They just slowed this ball, taking the air completely out of this.
Yeah, they're
right
sitting
now.
in the corner and dribble.
So with 40 seconds to go, they're going to start here pretty quick and start getting the play going. Now they're starting to move around a little bit. So Hawkins, working his way to the center of the court, just outside of the jump circle. Now with 20 seconds to go in the period, Hawkins still with the dribble out top. Now they're going to start into their offense. Now they're going to call an offensive foul. They had the ball all that time, and then they called an offensive foul on number 22, and that's going to go against Johnson. That's going to be his second. He set an illegal pick underneath. So now Fort Morgan with a chance with the ball with 13.4 seconds here. See if they can control the ball here to Leo Lopez. Now to TJ Bauer. Bauer down the left sideline. Bauer over to Leo Lopez with 8 seconds. Lopez underneath to Snyder. Snyder back out to Garcia. Garcia steps out for a three, and that is off the back of the rim and no good. Rebound to Snyder. Shot up by, and good at the buzzer by TJ Bauer. It's tied at the half, 28-28. Beautiful. Yeah, it was good. Nice three-pointer by TJ Bauer. So at the end of the first half, Fort Morgan 28, Vista Peak 28. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, where the Fort Morgan Mustangs and Vista Peak Bison are all tied up at 28. So it's anybody's ball game here from here on out. Fort Morgan playing a lot better basketball than previously when they played this team, getting beat pretty handily. So, excuse me.
Yeah, well, let's see if Fort Morgan comes out off of that three-pointer by Bauer at the beginning of at the end of the first half, and see if they can play off of that. See if that was a momentum builder for him here.
See if we can get somebody hot here in the second half. We get Kimball loosened up here. He only has 6. We'll see if he can come alive, and maybe Swetzik. He hasn't even scored tonight, and Swetzik usually is a pretty good.
It looks like the Mustangs are going to go back with their starting 5.
So Vista Peak will get the ball first here in the second half. Ball into Hawkins. All tied up at 28 to start the third period. Hawkins now, they're going to have a foul underneath. Is that going to go against? They're going to give that to Anderson.
That'll be 3 on Anderson.
That's 3. Something happened underneath the basket there. They're going to get Jake Frick into the game for Anderson. So that didn't take long. So Vista Peak inbounds just to the left of their basket. That'll be Isaiah Young with the ball out of bounds. Now they get the ball out to number 22 for a 3, and that is up and no good by Johnson. Knocked out of bounds by Young of Vista Peak. So Fort Morgan inbounds. Fort Morgan gets the ball across half court with pressure by Vista Peak. Now over to Joey Snyder. Leo Lopez, they're saying that was a 3, but it's out of bounds. Nice hustle by Young. He lost his balance and went out of bounds. Ball to Fort Morgan. Bringing it in just to the left of their basket. Kimball to bring in the ball. Gets it to Joey Snyder. Snyder to Swetzig. Swetzig to Kimball. Kimball now just inside the 2. And that is going to be off the rim and no good. Rebounded to Simpkins. Simpkins up court to Hawkins. Hawkins backs it out on the left wing, way high. Now he dribbles to center court. Hawkins now dribbles over to the right wing. Pass over to Simpkins. Simpkins pass underneath to Isaiah Young. And he went up with a shot, but he is going to be fouled. They're going to call that on Frick. That's going to be 3 on Frick. So Isaiah Young to go to the line to shoot 2. His first shot is no good. Valley View Villa, look to the team at Valley View for rehab, short-term or long-term care needs. Stop by 815 Fremont or call them today, 867-8261. Second shot is good by Young. First point of the second half for either team, 29-28 now. Fort Morgan throws the ball away under pressure by the Bison. So now the Bison inbound just in front of their bench. Isaiah Young gets it into Hawkins. Hawkins dribbles to center court. Now getting the ball over to Butler on the right wing. Now going to be taken by Snyder. Snyder to Kimball. So Kimball picks up his dribble. Now he gets it to Tony Swetzig. Swetzig over to Snyder. Snyder to Lopez. Lopez down the lane. Now he's pass underneath to Snyder. Snyder's shot is up and off the rim. Rebounded to Simpkins. Now over to Hawkins. Hawkins crossed half court. Hawkins backs it out left wing. Now he's going to try to drive against Leo Lopez out into the corner. And that 3 is up and no good. Now it's going to be a foul on Simpkins over the back. That's going to be the first on Simpkins. First team foul on the Bison in the second half. So we'll see if Fort Morgan can get the ball in here. They do to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez is ball over to Swetzig. Swetzig to Snyder. Now over to Frick in the right corner. Frick brings it in. Little jumper up and no good. Comes down to the rebound. Now to Swetzig. To Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez for the 3 up and no good. Nice strong rebound in there, but it's going to be thrown away. And now it's going to be taken down court. They're going to call a foul. They're going to call that on Frick. They're going to call that on Kimball.
That's 3 on Kimball.
His third. So ball over into the corner now to Hawkins. Hawkins for a 3 up and no good. Rebounded by Eric Kimball. Kimball to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez, his pass is going to be stolen by Hawkins. His pass is going to be over to number 22, Johnson. Johnson with a 2. So now Coach Unrein is upset about something. I'm not sure just.
Well, Swetzig's down here is bleeding out the mouth, and they didn't call it. He's been bleeding for a while when he collided with
Joey Snyder. They never stopped the play.
Never stopped the play, and he's bleeding out his mouth.
cut his lip, I think probably on his tooth there or something when he and Joey Snyder collided after that last rebound by Vista Peak. Now get the ball. Fort Morgan gets the ball in to Kimball to Garcia. Garcia has come in for Tony Swessig. Now the ball is going to be taken by Isaiah Young and put home by Isaiah Young with a 2. Now they've called
Young with the foul. That's 3 on him.
Foul. I didn't see what that was. He must have. So now Vista Peak leading 33-28 with a timeout on the floor. We have a 30-second timeout called by Fort Morgan. So this Fort Morgan timeout is brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Let the State Farm Insurance office of Greg Mullen and Brush help you find the best policy to fit your life. Home, auto, life, health. State Farm Insurance is here for you and your family. Give Greg Mullen a call today at 842-4555. So the Fort Morgan crowd, the student section getting into it right now. Try to get these boys pumped up here, see if we can get some points here in this third period. Scoreless so far for Fort Morgan.
They need to start making some sharper passes. Their passes are getting intercepted, almost like they're telegraphing exactly where they're passing to. So they need to come up with some better passing.
So now Anderson back into the game. Joey Snyder comes out. So Eric Kimball picks it up. A nice pass over to Lopez. Lopez underneath to Anderson. Back out to Garcia. Garcia up for a 3 off the front of in. Goes off the front of the rim and in.
Got the roll on that one.
So 7 points on the night for Garcia. Now ball in court. Isaiah Young fakes a 3. Now he gets it back out to Butler. Butler backs it out. Fort Morgan down 33-31 with 4:53 to go in the third period. So now Butler drives it into the lane. He kicks it out to the corner for a 3, and that is no good by Johnson. Fort Morgan with the rebound. Leo Lopez with the ball to Anderson. Now to Garcia. Garcia to get it across half court. Now Garcia gets it over to Frick in the far corner. Now to Leo Lopez. Lopez back out to Kimball. Kimball to Garcia. Garcia to Anderson. Anderson, nice little layup. No good. Kimball with a follow, though. It is good for Kimball. So 8 points on the night for Kimball. All tied up at 33 with 4:14 to go in the third period. Vista Peak with the ball in the front court. Hawkins with the ball. Keeps the dribble alive out there, being guarded by Lopez. Now tries to go down the left side. Does go down the left side underneath the Simpkins. Nice block by Anderson and off of Simpkins and out of bounds. Nice play block by Anderson. Anderson's probably having his best game of the year tonight. So all tied up at 33. Leo Lopez looking to get the ball in, does to Garcia. Garcia to Frick. Frick loses it a little bit. His shot is up and good for Frick.
Now they're starting to feel the rhythm a little bit.
35-33 in favor of Fort Morgan with 3:35 to go in the third period. Vista Peak with the ball across half court. Hawkins with it. Gets it over into the corner, and it's lost out of bounds by Butler. So now Vista Peak starting to throw the ball away. And Vista Peak, when they look like they start to get rattled, they start throwing the ball away here. 32, Butler just came out, and so did Johnson.
Butler came out, he was holding his stomach like he might have took a shot in the stomach with that ball.
So now Fort Morgan with the ball up court. Kick it back out to Kimball. Kimball to Anderson in the far corner, now under to Frick. Frick shot up and no good. Next shot up and no good. I don't know how they call. He got rid of the ball before he ever hit the floor, and no foul called on the shot.
They pulled him down. They had him all tied up. He had 3 guys on him and pulled him down to the ground. They call him for traveling.
So now Joey Snyder to check in. And Frick to come out. Frick's getting a little irritated, so they're going to cool him down just a little bit. But he's had a nice game so far. Coach Unrein having a little chat with him. He needs to slow him down. Don't want to get him do anything stupid and get thrown out of here. So Fort Morgan leading 35-33 with 3 minutes to go in the third period. Hawkins backs the ball out, being guarded by Leo Lopez. Hawkins now down the left sideline. He kicks it out to the corner to Young for a three, and that is no good. Way off the mark. Now ball to Garcia. Garcia to Leo Lopez. Lopez shot is rejected. Now Garcia. It's getting rough now. Now they're going to call a travel. Oh, my gosh. The refs had pretty good control of this game up until about a minute ago, and now things are getting out of control.
Yeah, they're going to have to start getting control of it again, or it's going to get ugly for them.
It's not going to be good. So now Hawkins goes out. Noah Butler back into the game for Vista Peak. Fort Morgan still leading 35-33. Vista Peak with the ball in the back court. 2:39 to go in the third period. Noah Jones into the game also for Vista Peak. Noah Butler down the lane. He kicks it out to the corner. Now a three try from the corner is no good. Rebounded and taken by Leo Lopez. Now how they don't call that a foul is beyond me. The guy goes over his head to get the ball. They're going to call a jump
ball.
It will be Fort Morgan ball, but this game is getting out of hand. So the ball into Leo Lopez, back to Kimball. Kimball over to Leo Lopez. Now down into Anderson. Anderson back out to Kimball. Kimball to Garcia for a three from the corner. That is up and no good. Rebounded by Anderson. They're going to call a foul on Vista Peak on number 10, and that is going to go against Jones. So we have a timeout. 30-second timeout called by Fort Morgan. It's Fort Morgan leading 35-33 with 2:10 to go in the third period. A couple of sponsors here on the night. Morgan Federal Bank, keeping community banking simple and committed to their community. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Ehrlich Toyota East, whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Ehrlich Toyota East at 1209 Main Street in Fort Morgan will professionally fit you into the car or truck of your choice. Serving all of Northeast Colorado, Ehrlich Toyota East. Northern Colorado Title. You don't have to close on your house alone. Northern Colorado Title at 130 West Kiowa in Fort Morgan will provide you with a stress-free closing.
I don't know if that timeout was for Morgan as much as it was for the refs. They huddled up and had a nice little conversation. I'd like to have been a fly on that wall.
So now ball into knocked out of bounds by Young. So Fort Morgan will retain possession of the ball just to the left of their basket. Still up 35-33 with 2:09 to go in the third period. Zach Garcia to get the ball into Anderson to the left, and he passes it back out to Garcia. Garcia out to Leo Lopez. Now out to Kimball. Kimball tries to drive down the lane. They're going to call an offensive foul. You got to be kidding me. There is no way he was set. Now they're going to have a conference out here, I believe. Let's see if they turn this over. Blue, yes, they're going to call a block. That is a good turnover. That's a good reversal on that call.
Let's borrow number 3 on him. Yeah, that was a good call. Tony
Swetzik back into the game for Eric Kimball. I don't know how they could have called that a charge. Neither one of them are set. So Anderson gets the ball into Leo Lopez. Lopez back to Swetzik. Minute 55 to go in the third period. Still 35-33. Nice pick by Anderson. Anderson over here to the corner to Garcia. Garcia's three is up and no good. Rebounded to Isaiah Young. Now ball going to be down court. That's going to be taken and lost out of bounds by Jose Ayala. So another turnover. So TJ Bauer in for Garcia.
It's 4 turnovers for the Bison and only 1 for the Mustangs in the second half. So maybe they're getting their turnovers under control for the Mustangs.
Fort Morgan with the ball in the back court. Leo Lopez up to Anderson across half court. Anderson back out to Swetzik. Swetzik to TJ Bauer with 1:29 in the third period. Now to Tony Swetzik on the right corner. Swetzik, little jumper from the left, is up and good.
Beautiful shot
for Swetzik for his 2 points of the night. 37-33 in favor of Fort Morgan. So now Noah Butler backs the ball out left high wing. Guarded by TJ Bauer. Now pass over into the corner for a 3, and that is up and no good. Fort Morgan with the rebound. Now over to Swetzik. Swetzik with a three. Let's see if he's feeling it off the front of the rim, and no good by Swetzik. Vista Peak with the rebound. Noah Butler down court. Now over into the corner. Up shot and no good, but that's going to be a foul on number 30, Jose Ayala, over the back of Leo Lopez. So Fort Morgan inbounds the ball far into the court. 5 team fouls on the Bison, 3 on the Mustangs with 43.5 seconds to go. Fort Morgan up 37-33. TJ Bauer to inbounds. He gets it into Anderson in the corner. Back to TJ Bauer with 40 seconds. Now up to Swetzik. Swetzik to try to they do get it past half court. Over to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez to Swetzik to TJ Bauer. Now out two. That's going to be a foul on number 32, Butler. That will be his second. Trying to go for the ball and pushed Tony Swetzik in the back. So 16 fouls now for Vista Peak. So next foul on them will be a 1-and-1 for Fort Morgan. So Sanusi back into the game. So Fort Morgan with the ball in the back court with 25 seconds to go. Leo Lopez trying to get the ball across half court and does. Now out to Tony Swetzik. Swetzik on the high wing. Now Bauer out at the center court. Now over to Swetzik with 10 seconds to go. Back to Leo Lopez. Lopez with 7 seconds to go. It's going to be saved by TJ Bauer. So at the end of the third period, Fort Morgan 37, the Bison 33 on Fort Morgan Basketball's B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, start of the fourth period, the Mustangs lead 37-33 on a good game here so far. Fort Morgan outscored Vista Peak 9-5 in that quarter.
Yeah, they did pretty good on the turnovers too, because the Bison have 4 and Mustangs only had 1 that period.
So Vista Peak to take control here at the start of the fourth period with Barrow. Back out to Sanusi. Sanusi over to back to Sanusi. Sanusi for a three, up and no good. Rebounded by Vista Peak, but there is going to be a foul called on Fort Morgan on the rebound. And that is going to go against Leo Lopez. That is his first of the night. Fourth team foul. So Vista Peak inbounds to the right of their basket. So Isaiah Young gets it in. A three shot is up and no good by Johnson. Nice rebound by Frick. Up to Swetzik. Swetzik now to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez being hounded out top by Barrow. Barrow back, Leo Lopez to Swetzik. Swetzik to Kimball. Kimball lay up down the lane, and his shot is going to be rejected. And now Johnson down court. He gets back in the corner. His pass is going to be out to Young, and that three is in and no good. Rebounded from number 20, Barrow. And that's going to be a foul on Sanusi after Swetzik controlled the ball. So that'll be 3 on Sanusi. So that'll be a 1-and-1 now. So this is where Fort Morgan needs to continue that perfection from the free throw line. There were no free throws by Fort Morgan in the third period. They were 7 of 7 in the first half. We'll see if Tony Swetzik can keep that alive. Every point counts here in this kind of a ball game. 7:04 to go. First one is up and good by Tony. 3 points on the night for Tony Swetzik. 38-33, a 5-point lead now for Fort Morgan with 7:04 to go. Free throw number 2 is up and also good for Tony. Crowd getting into it now. So now Vista Peak gets the ball across half court with Noah Jones. Noah Jones tries to drive it down the lane and does. Now they're going to call a foul on the pass underneath. We'll see who that's going to go on.
It's going to go on Kimball. That'll be 4 on him.
So Anderson into the game for Joey Snyder. So Vista Peak the inbounds to the right of their basket. Kimball comes out. Anderson back in. A little shot up by Young is no good. Rebounded by Anderson, and they're going to call a foul, I believe, on Isaiah Young on the rebound. That's going to be 4 on Young. So let's see. I would guess Anderson would go to the line. No? It's a 1-and-1. They're going to put Frick to the line. I thought Anderson would come down with the ball. It must have been a foul away from the ball, or away from the rebound. So we'll see if Mr. Frick can continue the perfection from the free throw line here with a 1-and-1. Jake's Frick's first shot is banked in. I don't care how they go in, as long as they go in. I don't know if he called that bank shot or not, but we're going to give him the point anyway. So 40-33 all of a sudden here. It's a 7-point lead for the Mustangs. Second shot is also good for Frick. 100% from the free throw line tonight for the Mustangs. Frick comes out, and I believe Joey Snyder came in. So now Vista Peak walking the ball across half court. Number 32, Butler. Butler over to the corner, and they shoot a 3, and that 3 is good. By Hawkins, I believe is who that is. So a 30-second timeout is called by Vista Peak. So we'll see if they come out in some type of a full court press here. They had backed that off here for a while. They may come out now, and
when they started this game, they were a full court press against the Mustangs. The Mustangs had a hard time getting it up the court. So I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't go back to a full court press, and it looks like that's what they're going to do.
That's when Fort Morgan had their turnovers, and Vista Peak has backed off of it. I don't know why you back away from something that usually works for you, but Fort Morgan was breaking that press there after a while. So we'll see if they can get the ball back in here. Zach Garcia to inbounds the ball. Tony Swetzik, Wes Anderson, Leo Lopez, and Joey Schneider into the game for Fort Morgan. They do get it into Tony Swetzik. Now back to Garcia. Garcia out to Leo Lopez. He gets it across half court. Now underneath to Schneider. Schneider's shot is up and no good, but he gets his own rebound. A little hook shot up and blocked. And now they're going to call a foul on Joey Schneider on the rebound. So that's going to be 3 on Schneider. Couldn't get that little puppy to go in. So now Frick is going to check back in, and Schneider will come out. So 16 fouls now on Fort Morgan.
Schneider just kind of getting losing the feel for it a little bit. So
now they just put 7 up there. If that was 7, that would be offensive foul. I guess is not a shooting foul. Now they're. I thought it was it was 5, then they put 6. Now they put 7. I think they
went back to 6
there
now.
We go.
There we go. I think they hit the button 1 extra. Well, the ref was on top of it. He called that one.
So now Vista Peak the inbounds in front of the scoring table. They get it in to Butler. Butler out high. Now he's going to try and drive down the lane. He's going to go against Garcia. And that's going to be a foul on Garcia. So it looks like what Vista Peak is going to try to do is they're just going to try and run it right into the lane and see if they can get some fouls called here on Fort Morgan. Now they're having a little reunion in the lane there. I'm not sure what they were.
Well, when he went in for that drive, he didn't go in with the ball up. He kind of like covered the ball up and went in like a linebacker would go a running back would go in the line. And
so Butler's first shot is no good. So Vista Peak is falling off here a little bit on the free throws. They were only 50% in the third period, only 1 of 2. But now they have missed a second one here, so where Fort Morgan has hit all of their free throws here in the game. So now the second shot coming up for Butler. His second shot is up and good. So that's 11 points on the night for Butler. Now Fort Morgan gets the ball in. Tony Swetzik down to Garcia. Garcia to Swetzik. Swetzik out high, back to Garcia. Hawkins on Garcia, now out to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez out to Tony Swetzik with 5:56 to go in the game. 41-37. The ball is going to be tipped and taken away by Vista Peak. And that's going to be Noah Butler who slows it down. Let's see if he tries to do the same thing, if he's going to try and charge into the lane. He's going to try to take it into the lane. He is cut off by Garcia. Then it was taken. Little layup was no good by Vista Peak. The rebounded by the Mustangs. Now Garcia, but his pass is going to be kicked out of bounds by Sanusi. So Fort Morgan will retain the ball. 5:20 to go in the game. Fort Morgan leading 41-37.
Fort Morgan's a little behind on their passes going under the basket, and just a little bit off, and then that's allowing Vista Peak to get in there. And
so Eric Kimball back into the game for Tony Swetzik. They called a travel on Anderson. I didn't see it, but doesn't mean it didn't happen. So now Isaiah Young back into the game along with Johnson. Sanusi out. I didn't see who the other one was that came out for Vista Peak. So Fort Morgan still with a 4-point lead with 5:15 to go in the game. So Fort Morgan playing tough here. Now they're going to call another blocking foul on Garcia. That's going to be 3. Now that will be a 1-and-1 again. And Butler will go back to the line.
Butler kind of gave him a shove off and they spun around. They got their feet caught up and they called the blocking foul, but they didn't call the shove off.
So now Sanusi back into the game for Vista Peak. So Butler back to the line for a 1-and-1. His first shot is up and good. So 41-38 in favor of the Mustangs with 5:09 to go in the game. Butler now with shot number 2. His second shot is also good. Now Noah Jones into the game for Vista Peak. Kimball gets the ball into Anderson, then back to Kimball. So Kimball going to be guarded by Noah Jones. Kimball down the right wing, back out to Garcia, back out to Kimball. Kimball for a 3. That's good for Kimball.
Needed that 3 to get Kimball rolling, maybe.
Maybe that'll get him started. 44-39. Now Noah Jones across half court. Going to be a 3 for Hawkins. Hawkins, his 3 is no good. Rebounded back out to Isaiah Young. Now back out to Jones. Jones is going to be guarded by Garcia. So Jones tries to drive it down the left, and his pass is going to be underneath. And no good by Isaiah Young. It's going to be off of Vista Peak. Nice hustle by Anderson, but off of Vista Peak with 4:26 to go. Fort Morgan up 44-39. So Eric Kimball inbounds. He gets it into Anderson. Anderson back to Kimball. Kimball guarded by Jones. Now over to Anderson. Anderson to Garcia. Garcia backs it out left wing. Gets it over to Kimball. Kimball now they're going to call an offensive foul.
On Frick.
On Frick. I just don't see these offensive fouls. I don't know just. So they're going to call that on Frick. That's going to be 4 on him. It must be an illegal screen or something. They're calling underneath the basket.
Yeah, I don't see the ball was away from the screen if there was one.
So now Vista Peak with the ball, down 44-39. So Zach Garcia guarding Noah Butler. Butler tries to go down the lane, and he is going to throw the ball back out to Isaiah Young. Isaiah Young, they're going to call it. They're going to call a blocking foul on Fort Morgan. Wow. Looked like a travel to me. They call that on Kimball. If that's on Kimball, that's 5.
Yeah, they called it on Kimball. That's 5.
Oh, that's too bad. So that looks like 5 on Kimball. So they're going to, he has a few minutes or a few seconds here to get somebody else into the game. He's going to get Tony Swetzik back in, and Eric Kimball will go to the bench for the rest of the game. But nice game by Kimball. 11 points on the night for Kimball. Tough way to foul out of the game. But now Young to the line to shoot 2 because that's 10 team fouls on Fort Morgan. First one is no good. I don't even have to watch. I can tell by the crowd if it goes in or not.
Well, this is, see if he makes the second one and gets him in within 4 points here.
So shot number 2 coming up here, and that shot is good. So Isaiah Young to come out and Noah Jones back into the game. So Garcia 2 inbounds the ball and get it into Tony Swetzik.
The Vista Peak kind of went off their full court press again.
So that should be, I don't know why that's not a foul on a reach in, but not called. Now Leo Lopez out high with 3:42 to go. Leo Lopez, somebody needs to come help him. They have a timeout called by Coach Unrein of the Fort Morgan Mustangs. They're going to take a full timeout, so we'll take one with them with 3:37 to go in the 4th period. Fort Morgan 44, Vista Peak 40. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back on to Fort Morgan High School. The Mustangs get the ball in, up 44-40 with 3:33 to go in the game. Garcia over to Swetzik. Now Swetzik backs it out on the left wing, back out to Garcia. Garcia to Lopez, right wing. He gets it back out to Garcia. Now Garcia being guarded closely now to Leo Lopez. Now we're going to have a foul called, and that's going to go on number 10, I believe is who that is. Oh, that's on Hawkins. That's his first. Oh, my goodness. So Leo Lopez to go to the line for a 1-and-1.
Well, let's see if they can stay perfect on their free throws for the game.
This is where we need to stay perfect.
It's going to come down to free throws.
So Isaiah Young back into the game and J.T. Johnson back into the game. 3:15 to go, 44-40. Mustangs in the lead. Leo Lopez to the line for a 1-and-1, and the first one is good. So Fort Morgan making the points they need to from the free throw line. Up 45-40 now with 3:15 to go. So now Lopez with shot number 2, also good. So that's 4 points on the night for Leo Lopez. Morgan up 46-40 with 3:10 to go in the game. And now Noah Butler, we'll see if he does like he was doing. Nope, he's going to pass it off now out to Johnson. Johnson out high back to Butler. Butler, we'll see if he tries to drive the lane like he's been doing against Garcia. He takes it down the court, and that shot is up and no good. Rebounded to Butler. His shot up and no good. Rebounded to Anderson. Anderson up to Leo Lopez. Lopez down the lane. Pass over to Garcia. Now into Anderson. Anderson's shot is up and good on the way up.
Way to pass the ball around.
Nice pass there by the Mustangs. Up 48-40 with 2:29 to go in the game. So Noah Butler, see, he's going to try and drive the lane again. He passes off to Johnson. Johnson now over to Hawkins. Hawkins for a 3, and that is good for Hawkins. Hawkins with 9 on the night. So 48-43. Now Joey Schneider with a little layup, and that is up and good for Schneider. They break that press. Schneider's first points of the game come at a big time here for the Mustangs. 50-43. So Noah Butler back out left high wing. He's going to try and drive against. Now it's going to be a pass underneath and out of bounds off the hands of Hawkins. So turnover to Fort Morgan.
Mustangs got to capitalize on this turnover here.
So a minute 48. Mustangs up 7, 50-43. So Zach Garcia to inbounds, gets it into Tony Swetzik. Swetzik now over to Leo Lopez. Lopez guarded by Hawkins. Now Leo Lopez. Nice spin move by Leo Lopez. Pass into Snyder, up and good.
That was beautiful.
Beautiful pass. 52-43, Fort Morgan. What a beautiful spin out there by Leo Lopez. And then a dish underneath the
Lopez spun right
Snyder.
between the two defenders. That was beautiful.
Now they're going to, Isaiah Young for a three from the corner, and they're going to call, that is good. They're going to call Anderson with a foul. So Anderson is going to be fourth foul on him. They can't be doing that kind of stuff.
I'll get them back in the game in a hurry. Keep doing that.
So 50, they did not give him the points yet. Still up by 9. It was a 3. We're wondering if it was a 3 or a 2. So it should be 52-46. It is. Now Isaiah Young to go to the line to shoot. Yes, they've got it correct now. So now Isaiah Young to go to the line to shoot one free throw. 52-46 in favor of Fort Morgan with 1:20 to go. Isaiah Young to shoot a free throw, and that one is up and good. So now Fort Morgan gets the ball in court to Leo Lopez with 1:15 to go in the game. Now to Anderson. Anderson to Joey Schneider. Schneider back out to Leo Lopez. Lopez being guarded. The ball is going to be taken away by Butler. Butler's going to back to Young. And Young is going to be fouled on the play, and that looks like that will probably go against Tony Swetzik. Let's see if that's on Swetzik. They're going to call that on Garcia. So that's 4 on Garcia. So that will send Young back to the line to shoot 2. 1 minute left to go in the game. 52-48 now. First one is up and good. So Fort Morgan needs to take care of the ball when they get it back in their possession. So 52-48 with 1 minute to go in the game. Isaiah Young with shot number 2 coming up here. And that shot is up and also good. So Isaiah Young's been their big scorer here in the fourth period. Now they're going to call out of bounds off of Vista Peak. So Fort Morgan to get the ball to the left of Vista Peak's basket. They get the ball into Leo Lopez. Now back to Tony Swetzik. Swetzik to get the ball. He gets the ball. He's being hounded earlier. They're going to call a foul on Sanusi. So that'll be 4 on Sanusi. So now Tony Swetzik to the line.
You got to hit their free throws now. It's all about free throws now.
With 54.6 seconds to go. And that is 10 team fouls on the Bison, so Swetzik will get to shoot 2. So this is where you win the game. 2 free throws here will be big.
They get a 2-point possession.
So that first shot is up and good. Still perfect from the line tonight for Fort Morgan. So Tony Swetzik.
One more, make a 2-possession game here.
53-49 with 54.6 seconds to go. Tony Swetzik with 1 shot coming up here. Tony Swetzik, shot number 2 is good. Nothing but the bottom of the net. So now Vista Peak inbounds the ball to Noah Butler. Noah Butler gets the ball. They're going to call, Vista Peak is going to call a timeout. So with 48.9 seconds to go, Fort Morgan 54, the Bison 49.
It's going to be a full timeout, looks like.
And it is a full timeout, so we'll take one with them. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, where Vista Peak has just put a rebound in for a 2-shot foul, for a 2-pointer.
Barrow.
That was Barrow. Now another timeout has been called by Vista Peak. And that is going to be another full timeout. So we'll take one with them. We'll be back after a 30-second break on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School in a barn burner here. The Mustangs up 54-51 with 36.6 seconds to go in the game. Fort Morgan inbounds far in. Tony Swetzik looks to get the ball in. And they get it into Anderson. Anderson gets it over to Leo Lopez, still in the back court. Now that's going to be a foul on number 10, and that is going to be against Jones. That's his second. So they're going to have to make their free throws. That's what Vista Peak is looking for. So Leo Lopez to go to the line to shoot 2. Need to make both of these. Come on, Leo. Oh, crawled in. Very good. Hits the front of the rim and goes in. So now another 2-possession game right now for the Mustangs. So Vista Peak brings in number 22, Johnson. Johnson's only had 5 points tonight in the game. So now Leo with second shot, and it is also good. So 56-51, a 5-point lead for the Mustangs with 30 seconds to go in the game. Hawkins now being guarded by Garcia. Hawkins still hasn't got across half court. Now they get it into Noah Butler. Shot is up and good by Butler. So 18.9 seconds, 56.
Should be 53.
Should be 53. They're a little slow on getting there.
Another full timeout.
Another full timeout. So we'll take another 30-second timeout on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School with Bob Richardson. This is Brian Nickel. 56-53. Fort Morgan. They will inbounds from the far end of the court.
This is where they're going to get fouled, and this is where they're going to make their win come true. It's right here on the free throws, because you know Vista Peak's going to foul. 18 seconds left. 18.9 seconds. Tony Swetzik to get the ball in. He gets it into Garcia. Back to Tony Swetzik. Now they're going to call a jump ball. And that's Fort Morgan possession. So down to 14.3 seconds. Fort Morgan inbounds at the far end. Now Vista Peak doing a little substitution here. They get Isaiah Young back into the game. Simpkins comes out. So Fort Morgan needs to get the ball down court. No more tie-ups, because the next tie-up will go back to Vista Peak. So now Tony Swetzik at the far end. Tony Swetzik, Wes Anderson, Leo Lopez, Joey Schneider, and Zach Garcia in the game for the Mustangs. Tony Swetzik does get the ball in. That's going to be a foul. I don't know what they're complaining about. That's a foul on Sanusi. That is it for him. He should be out of the game. They thought they were going to get a jump ball called, and he came up over the back.
It should have been. If that would have been football, it would have been a nice tackle down about the goal line. So 13 seconds left. 56-53, 2-shot foul coming up here. Both teams are in the double bonus. So Leo Lopez, we need to hit one of these to make this a 2-possession game. So Leo Lopez with first shot is nothing but the bottom of the net. So 57-53, 4-point lead. So Leo Lopez with shot number 2 coming up here. His next shot is rims out and no good. So now Noah Butler down court, and they're going to call I don't know what they called. I thought they were calling a timeout. 7.9 seconds, but apparently I don't know.
The ref thought the Vista Peak coach called a timeout. He was telling them to huddle up. But
I think Fort Morgan's going to go ahead and call a timeout with 7.9 seconds up by 4, 57-53. Another full timeout, so we'll take a 30-second timeout with them. Fort Morgan leading 57-53 with 7.9 seconds to go on B106 and B106.com. Back here at Fort Morgan High School, coming down to the wire here. Fort Morgan 57, Vista Peak 53, a game the Mustangs desperately need if they want to continue on for a chance into the playoffs. So Vista Peak inbounds at half court with 7.9 seconds, down 4. And they get it into Hawkins. Hawkins is going to launch a long three, and that is up and no good. Rebounded to Tony Swetzik, and now they're going to call a foul. They're going to call. One guy was going to call a jump. The guy calling in from out here, I think, was going to call a foul with 1.2 seconds. They're going to call a jump ball. We have 1.2 seconds to go.
Wow.
Fort Morgan leading by 4. So Vista Peak to inbounds from just to the right of their basket. So if they don't foul him on a 3-point, just let him shoot that sucker down to 4, and it's over. Fort Morgan wins at 57-53 over Vista Peak. Big win for the Mustang boys.
They need that so desperately.
Oh, man, what a game. Great game here by the Mustangs. We're going to take a 3-minute break and be back with some statistics. 57-53 Mustangs on B106 and B106.com. The Mustang postgame show is brought to you by High Plains Bank and Wiggins. The friendly staff at High Plains Bank and Wiggins is ready to assist you with a home loan, equity line of credit, commercial loan, or checking account. To receive hometown service on a higher plane, visit High Plains Bank today. We couldn't ask for a better ball game here. Fort Morgan 57, the Bison 53. A victory the Fort Morgan boys needed desperately if they want to try to keep their hopes alive for a playoff spot. Fort Morgan, at the end of the first quarter, it was tied at 17. At the end of the half, it was 28-28. At the end of the third period, Fort Morgan led 37-33, outscored Vista Peak 9-5. And then in the fourth period, both teams put up 20 points apiece. Final score 57-53. Leading scorers for Vista Peak is Butler with 15, Young with 14, Hawkins with 9, Barrow with 7, Johnson with 5, and Ayala with 3. For Fort Morgan, the leading scorer was Kimball with 11, and he fouled out, 5 minutes or so left in the game. So they did this without his contribution. It was kind of a cheap foul, but I guess you go with what they call. Next in line is Anderson. Nice game for Anderson tonight with 9. Garcia with 7. Lopez with 7. Swetzik with 6. Bauer with 5. Frick with 6. Nice game for Jake Frick. We also have 2 points for Henry Weimer. So everybody did some nice contributions tonight to pull this win out. Big game, like you said, to keep their playoff hopes alive.
That was pretty good, considering that we going into the fourth period, we had 4 guys with 4 fouls. Kimball's the only one that ended up fouling out. So going into the last period, I was kind of concerned that they were, we're going to have some foul issues and stuff. So, but they did pretty good coming back from the 7 at half on the turnovers. They ended up with 9, so they got 1 in the third and 1 in the fourth. The Bison had 3 in the first half, and they ended up with 8. They had 4 in the third and 1 in the fourth. The rebounds the Mustangs outscored them 21-20. So they're pretty even crashing the boards for the rebounds. Leading the Bison for rebounds was Young. He had 8. Then we had Barrow with 4. Then you had Hawkins and Johnson and Simpkins with 2. Then Ayala and Sansui with 1. Leading for the Mustangs in the rebounds, we had Anderson with 5, Frick with 4, Kimball with 3, Schneider and Weimer with 2, Swetzik with 2. And we had Garcia, Reagan, and Lopez with 1. So, and all around, they pretty even night on the turnovers and the rebounds for the Mustangs. It was a good win. It came down to the free throws and just that one last free throw by Lopez, and otherwise they'd have had 100% on the night, which is I've never seen it done here. So. That'd been pretty amazing if they could have got that last one.
Yeah, Fort Morgan was actually 18 of 19 for the game from the free throw line. Vista Peak wasn't too shabby. They were 16 of 20 So if they had hit their 4, they would have tied it'd have been a tie game. But both teams doing a pretty good job of free throw shooting here. Fort Morgan, they, like Bob said, they only missed that one, and they were.
Makes you wonder if Coach had Lopez missed that second one. You don't know if they know the stats or anything, but with 13 seconds left and you're going up there, you kind of want to miss that last one, let the clock get running. So, it would be a kind of hard call. If they knew the stats, I'm sure he probably wouldn't have told them to miss it.
Yeah, Fort Morgan was 11 of 12 in the fourth quarter on free throws. Leah Lopez was 5 of 6. Swetzik was 4 of 4. Frick was 2 of 2. So much improved on Jake Frick's part. He had a game early this year where he couldn't buy a free throw. So that was good to see him get his free throws down. So all-around good game for the Mustangs. Now the next game for the Fort Morgan Mustang boys will be Thursday night at home, and that will be against Skyview, another game that they will need to win to try to get into the playoffs.
Hopefully coming off this win, it'll kind of give them that boost going. Skyview coming home to play them. They beat Skyview, about 3-4 weeks ago when they were down in Skyview. So and that started their whole turnaround. So maybe they could finish with Skyview and get that at large berth to go into the playoffs. It'd be kind of sweet to come around.
It'd be nice if we could get both teams here into the playoffs. Since the girls were already in, it'd be real nice to get the boys into the playoffs along with them. And if they do get into the playoffs, their first game would be next Wednesday. The boys' tournament starts Wednesday. The girls' game tournament starts on Tuesday. So I guess they're wanting to clear things out here. Another thing I'd like to say was an excellent crowd here tonight. The student section was magnificent tonight. I haven't seen that many students come to a Mustang basketball game for quite some time, and they were very boisterous and helped out the home team very much.
And it's good to see that the stands were pretty packed, not only with the students but with family here cheering on the boys who desperately need that boost of morale to go into Thursday's game. Hopefully we get the same turnout on Thursday that we did tonight, and that'd be awesome if they come out with the win. And then it's just up to the jury's hands, so to speak, and see where we end up.
See how the other teams above them, how they do. So as we said, the next game for the Mustang boys will be here at home against Skyview. The girls will be at Skyview, both games at 7 o'clock. The boys' game can be heard right here on B106 and B106.com. Once again, the final scores: the girls win 56-25. The boys win in a barn burner 57-53. Our sound engineer and producer of Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball has been Braden Godin. They had kind of a tag team tonight. Trenton Clipper came in and finished up for Braden. He had to go home. So nice job by both of those guys tonight for us. So you have been listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. For Bob Richardson, this is Brian Nickel. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.